Hi friends, Chandrasekhar here again. Now we shall be going into, I suppose, the fifth lecture in the series of lectures on yoga. We went through how yogas are to be considered, what is the concept behind yogas, how can they derive some strength. They have to be more than two parameters for a yoga to be really successful or give its results with more intensity. We also seen yogas where moon is the reference point. Then we have seen yogas where sun is the reference point. They have to be there. And then we went to the Maharaja Yoga, the Raja Yogas as they call it, yogas for kingdom. Please understand that kingdom is authority and wealth, basically. So not everybody can be king, but yogas can appear in many charts because of the way earth revolves around itself and sun, and the way the planets are also in perpetual motion. So it is quite likely. Though of course the degree of planets will change according to place where the birth is taken. So now we shall go into the next important yoga, which is called as the Kalpadruma Yoga. This is a bit complicated yoga. Kalpadruma means a tree which fulfills your wishes. Druma means the tree and kalpa is kalpana, my own desires. We say sankalpa, I am giving my sankalpa. So this is what I have decided. This is the reason for which I am, pouring water. This is how many pujas are done when they are for obtaining certain boons from the gods in Hindu religion. Those who are Hindus will understand it, those who are not also understand it, because when people get into Jyotisha, they also try to understand the religion, because this is also part of religion. This is ultimately a Vedic science. So it uses many terminologies which are also used in the religious context. So this is Kalpadruma Yoga. This is also called as pārijāta Yoga. Both mean the same thing, because that tree gives your boons, grants your boons. It is called Kalpadruma. But the flower that comes out of the, to that tree is called pārijāta. Pārijāta pushpa they call it. It has white petals and the stem is almost saffron colored. And if somebody has seen that, when I was young, we had one tree in our premises. At my age, that tree also felt it is time to go. I'm still trying to get one plant to plant again for my next generation. So you will see that when it flowers, the flowers drop by themselves early in the morning and cover the entire base of the tree. Whatever the canopy is there, entire circumference is covered by those white, beautiful flowers. They have a very peculiar, wonderful scent also. So obviously, a tree under which you sit and if flowers are showered on you, that is if you understand them to be boon in a way. And this happens in the morning, the smell is very nice. We know that when our mind is happy, we tend to take more right decisions than wrong decisions. When we are disturbed, we can. That is why moon is said to be seed of everything, every action of ours. Indu sarvatra bija bho is the Sanskrit shloka about which I have said many a times. It's my favorite. So anyway, I am diverting from the subject. So what is this yoga? There are two shlokas given, different shlokas meaning the same thing. One appears in Jātaka Pārijāta, another goes in the Brihad Parashar Hora Shastra. Even in Brihad Parashar Hora Shastra, one of the editions gives the same shloka as is given in the Jātaka Pārijāta. So we don't know from where which one has come, because all these things had to be memorized by those sages. They were written down later on, much later. So one shloka is lagneśatadgatarkṣeśa. gatarkṣeśa, tadaṁśapāḥ. Now this becomes complicated. It's not complicated. See, Lord of the Lagna, the Lord of the Rashi, which is occupied with the Lagna Lord, wherever this Lord is placed, Lord of that Rashi and the Navamsha that it occupies, Lord of that Navamsha, all of them, if they are in kendra, squares, koṇa, trines, in own Rashi, svatuṅge, sva is own, tunga is exaltation Rashi, then the Kalpadruma Yoga is said to have occurred. So what are the results of this? This is again said as vilagnanāthasthitarāśināthasthāneśvaro vā'pi tadaṁśanāthaḥ kendratrikoṇopagato yadi syātsvatuṅgago yadi etc. etc. jātaka. But the intent and meaning is same. I will be giving the shloka down below in Devanagari, I think. Okay, I'll also try to give the translated version below the Devanagari script so that it becomes easy to understand. You can also refer to the yoga in Pārijāta or Brihadarashara Shastra. Even in my book, I think I have given those shlokas. So you can find it from anywhere. So now what is being said? Lord of the Lagna, Lord of the Rashi occupied by that Lagnadhipati, wherever that Lagna Lord is occupying, it has to occupy some Rashi. So Lord of that Rashi. Then that Lord will be placed in some other Rashi. Lord of that other Rashi. This is becoming a bit complicated, isn't it? It's not complicated. And then this final Rashi where it is placed, Lord of that Rashi, go to the Navamsha, see where he is placed, Lord of that Navamsha. If all of them are placed in either kendra, that is square, or in trine, what we call trikoṇa, then they have also to be either in their own Rashi or in their Rashi of exaltation. If all these conditions are met, the four basic lords, they could be one or they could be different lords, isn't it? So then what happens is the Pārijāta Yoga or Kalpadruma Yoga, Kalpadruma Yoga is a better terminology, but it is also many a times called as Pārijāta Yoga. It is one and the same. Don't confuse this with the pārijātaṁśa. That is different. That is certain number of a planet occupying the same varga, same Rashi in 3 or 4 vargas will be called Pārijāta. So that is different. Pārijātaṁśa is absolutely different from the Pārijāta Yoga. Please understand that. So there should not be any confusion. Then what happens? Something happens. What are the results? Sarveshvara yuto. He has all sort of wealth. So in ancient time, the wealth was basically dhana and dhanya, which is wealth and the enough food to feed the those who are dependent on the king, that is his citizens, his subjects. Bhupo, that is king. Dharmatma, one who follows dharma. Now dharma is righteous duties. Don't forget that. Don't connect it with going to some temple and performing regular worship. Yeah, that is also part of it. According to his varna, where he is placed, we have got only 4 varnas, though people talk about caste in Hinduism. Real Hinduism, or rather Sanatan Dharma as we call it, has only 4 classifications. The Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas and the Shudras. Those who use their brain and also impart knowledge to others. Those who live by their valor, who own the earth, Vira, Bhogya, Veerabhogya Vasundhara, that is the statement. Only the brave shall inherit the earth. Hinduism doesn't talk about meek inheriting earth. Please understand that. Unfortunately, that ahimsa and whatever is being talked about, and so people take it that way. No. And you will find that is what happens. One who has strength can acquire a country also. Or if he is in corporate world, he will acquire others' company also. Takeover bids are there. So there has to be strength. Now they need the financial strength. That is the difference. So Kshatriya, somebody who lives by virtue of his understanding of how what should be bought where and sold where to get a profit, and somebody who is not connected with these people, who actually works on ground. So these are the four divisions. Here Bhupo, one who enjoys or who acquires things and enjoys them. Dharmatma. Bala Sanyuta, he is endorsed with strength. Bala is strength, Bala Sanyuto, endowed with strength. Naturally, otherwise he cannot acquire anything. And whatever. Yuddhapriyo, he loves to fight. Isn't it? Now you can connect the being a king, being a Dharmatma, and all those things, they are indicated. But does that Yuddhapriyo war has to be a real war with guns and everything? Not necessarily. I'm sure those who have studied history and who are looking at the contemporary world understand that not every time with only arms and ammunition you can win. You have to have different strategies to win over enemies, whatever may be his form. And then Dayaluscha, she tends to be somewhat philanthropic, you can call it. Dayalu is one who takes pity on others, is the meaning of it. But I would say he is philanthropic, he does things for general public, those who are downtrodden, who need the help. Understand, only being sort of a philanthropic person and whose wealth is given away is not necessarily considered to be dharmapriya, one who upholds the dharma, the duties, the righteous duties, nor considered to be somebody taking pity, because you can pity even the uncouth, and that is a no-no. That is supposed to be not a good thing. That's not dharma. So dharmatma will not happen there. But those who really need help, and somebody who gives that help to them, not necessarily somebody who donates something and creates some sort of a library or whatever, endowment chair or whatever in his own name. No, that is fine, but that is not the dharma as envisaged by the Hindu religion, the Sanatana Dharma, from whose vast knowledge comes Jyotisha also. That is why this is called the Vedic Jyotisha, that which follows the Vedic perception. So this we have to understand. Now, having said this, the question remains, if all these four, the Lord of the Lagna, the Lord of the Rashi that he occupies, the Lord of the Rashi that is occupied by this Lord, and the Lord of the Navamsha Rashi where this Lord is placed, if all four of them happen to be same, then what happens? Will it happen or will it not happen? It will happen. I will give you example of Pisces or Sagittarius, whichever you like. Sagittarius is my ascendant, so I give you I don't have Kalpadruma Yoga. I hope not. I never study my own chart anyway. So it should not be done. That is how I look at it. Anyway, I'm not I diverted from the topic for some 2 seconds. I am sure you will pardon me. And what can happen is, suppose Jupiter occupies the Lagna, so he is in Hindu's Rashi. There is no doubt about it. Lagna is ascendant. Then Since he is occupying a Rashi whose Lord he is himself, so the second condition is also there, also placed in Kendra, the square, isn't it? Then Lord of that Rashi and his Lord again is Jupiter. And suppose he is in the, so the three conditions are already there. And suppose he is in the last degrees of Sagittarius. What will happen? He will be also occupying Sagittarius Navamsha. Because the last Navamsha is always of a dual Rashi. We know that. So all these four things will coalesce into one. And he is in Lagna, where he also gets Digbala. So if we want to have additional strength, will it be equal to the yoga cost where these four factors are different? Personally, I would think, yeah, if these four are different, then the yoga will fructify with greater intensity. This one is also a powerful yoga. I mean, please remember this. This is not an ordinary yoga. This is a powerful yoga. But since the variables are less, the possibilities of people with such yogas will be greater. Because for one full year, Jupiter will be in one Rashi, and for quite a long time, at certain point of time, he will be in the Lagna. And in the 3 degree 20 minutes, the last 3 degree 20 minutes, he will be occupying his own Navamsha. So we have to think about it. Especially, I mean, this is just a theoretical thing that I am telling you, but this can happen. Whereas there are, the four people are sitting at four different places and in exaltation or own Rashi, and also in Kendra or Trikona getting strength from Kendra Dibala as we call it. This will be a more powerful yoga. So perhaps the same Jupiter in his Rashi of exaltation, that is Cancer, with all these four things coming together, with Moon also occupying Kendra and own Rajas and all those things, will perhaps give the same yoga or the results of the same with greatest of the intensity. I mean, for lack of better words, I am saying greatest intensity. I am not saying the yoga will not happen if this is not there, or if only two factors are available and the third and fourth are not available. It doesn't mean the yoga will be not there. It will be of a lesser intensity. So please understand this. Whenever we look at yogas, we have to think about possibilities of what can happen. And if something is happening, then we have also to think if this can happen very easily, or this will happen only in a very small, what can I say it, a frame of time, or will this be happening for a pretty long time. If that is going to happen, if there are going to be numerous people born with similar yogas, then it is obvious it would not be as intense. Second thing, the same yoga, the most powerful yoga, with say Jupiter in Cancer, Moon also in Cancer, so everything falls into picture. Would Moon in the earliest degree, so he is in his own martial art, and Jupiter in the last degrees and all that. So even then, suppose other planets that are there in that chart indicate that this guy's fortune will grow if he is in distant lands, and he does not go to distant land or in distinctly different culture, then the results would not be as strong. Please understand this. Otherwise, what happens? We take one yoga and go after that and give predictions, and when they do not come through, either we start disbelieving our own science, and certainly to one whom you have told this will start disbelieving this science. So, being science, it has certain parameters, certain tests. Yoga also have to go through that test. Of the rarer it is, the intensity will be more. Because yogas are given in certain manner. Now, what is happening here is, The Amshanatha can pass on his strength to the Lord of a house who is sitting there. That Lord himself is strong, so he passes his strength to the Rashi he owns. Whatever Lord is sitting there also gains strength from it. He is also occupying own house, so he gains strength, additional strength. So this threefold strength comes to him. Then he occupies own Rashi, and then he occupies it in a kendra or in a trikona. So even more strength. So whatever the personality of the people, because this is where this all strength is going, is to the lagna and lagna lord. Understand this. So this lagna lord is deriving strength from all these things. Now lagna represents your personality, your body also. So obviously, if a person is having a strong personality, because lagna is also your entire personality, entire gamut of personality, it is very obvious that he will be successful. He will be successful means he will have wealth. Success is always considering is of wealth and reputation. If reputation is not there, at least wealth will be there. Here both of the things, because they are in squares or in trines. Trines support the apex of the trine, we know that. So he becomes dharmatma, because if the personality itself is well balanced, then it is obviously he will learn from, he has good intellect, learn from fifth house, learn from whatever experiences he has, and also will follow the righteous duties indicated by the ninth house. So this is the way the yoga is constructed. If we understand this, then where this type of yoga is not there, but suppose this is happening in the second house, we understand that there will be some strength to the second house and its trine rashis, and then we can apply the yoga in a different fashion in different area, but still we will be able to predict fairly close to what is correct. And the intention of starting this series of lectures is basically this, because everybody reads the books. I mean, those who are listening to these lectures, a few who just want to listen to lectures so that they can ask me question about their own chart, let us drop that. I would also enjoin upon people not to ask about interpretation of their own charts, because that would not be proper. Because one has to learn to be detached from own chart to understand astrology in its true sense, and it takes time for one to develop the ability to be detached from own chart. So of course, if there is something which is really very serious, then I will try to give my opinion. I generally respond to each and every query that is made. I am sure those who have been with me from 2016, I suppose we started this effort of ours, and so that is true, and I will still respond, but sometimes I might say, okay, please ask only if it is very serious, because that gives me time enough for me also to study and also to record and do other things, and I have got a small shop where I earn my livelihood, so I have to attend to that also. That is my duty. So please don't misunderstand, but I thought this sometime or other I must tell this. So what is happening is, when we go for yogas, don't think of them as an empirical formula. Look what is the basis of yoga, then apply it on the real chart, find out what other planets are also doing there, and then come to a conclusion. So you will understand when there is strength of character, when there is self-confidence. Also Atma-bali is also one of the attributes, self-confidence, attributes of the lagna. Atma-bhava, he also represents Atma's soul. So if that is strong, naturally it follows that it is much more well-rounded personality, but he would strive to get his right. That is why it is called as yuddhapriyo, one who likes to fight. That doesn't need to be a physical fight. It can as well be the fight through using his intellect, and the strategy as we call it, or wealth. What happens in the bear market, and those most of you must be knowing about the stock market, so you understand this, and then apply, and I am sure most of the time your assessment would be correct. I would not say all the time, I think that is impossible, because our own planets are also working. Someday we may not be able to focus properly. But if we go step by step, we are likely to succeed most of the time. So, my dear friends, you have been so patient and you have been so kind to me that keep your questions or queries coming. I'll try to respond as much as possible, and I'll take your leave and a very good night. Thank you very much.